Hi guys, in this video we will be looking at sum to infinity grade 12, right? Well, we are still working with sequence and series. In our previous video we did look at geometric series, right? We are working with sum to infinity. In the upcoming video we will learn about sigma notation, guys. Then once we are done with sequence and series, we'll look at functions, right guys? Functions. So don't rush, you will crash. Remember, um when well, if you're new to this channel, what are you waiting for? Do the right thing by subscribing. You only subscribe once. Like and comment. We really appreciate you guys. Yes, we are growing as a community. So we'll be looking at sum to infinity, guys, right? So the formula for sum to infinity, it's sum to infinity, which is equals to a divided by 1 minus r. When negative 1 it's greater than r but lesser than 1. Well, this part means that the series converges. It converges between the ratio between when the constant ratio is between negative 1 and 1, right? I hope guys are getting me. Converges when the constant ratio is between negative 1 and 1. I hope I've highlighted some light there. It converges when it's between negative 1 and 1, right? Because they will ask you that question. So the first question, they will say calculate the sum to infinity of the geometric series. Well, two things that you must know when you are working with geometric series. We must have a first term. What is our first term? Our first term is 1. Then we need to calculate the constant ratio. Remember, you must have the first term and the constant ratio. So we already have our first term is 1, so we need to find the constant ratio. To find the constant ratio, just say r is equals to t2 divided by t1, right guys? I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear, right? So it's term 2 divided by term 1. So let's see, what do we get then? Remember, we are having 1 all over 2 divided by 1. It's term 2 divided by term 1, right? So this will be your half, then inverse proportion, this will be multiplied, then it's the same as having 1 all over 1. What is 1 times 1? That's going to be 1. 2 times 1, that's going to be 2. So the constant ratio, it's going to be half. Even if you say 1 over 4 divided by half, you're still going to get 1 over 2, right? So the constant ratio there will be 1 all over 2. Are we done? No. We have collected the data. We need to calculate the sum to infinity. So this will be a, write your formula, 1 minus r. So what is that? Where we see a, you replace it by 1. 1 minus, where we see r, we replace it by half. Then we will therefore say sum to infinity is equals to, then let's punch our calculator there. Right, when we punch our calculator, we get that sum to infinity is equals to 2. So the sum to infinity is equals to 2. I hope, guys, that makes sense. I hope that makes sense, guys, right? So that's how you can, that's how we work with calculating the sum to infinity of a geometric series. Let's look at number 2. At number 2, we're given 2 minus 4 all over 3 plus 8 all over 9. Right, guys? So when it comes to such, my advice is you apply the same procedure. You apply the same technique. Nothing is new, guys. Nothing is new. So our first term is it's 2 there. So we need to find the constant ratio. Remember, I said you say term 2 divided by term 1, term 3 divided by term 2, right? To calculate for a constant ratio. So in this case, we are having 4 over 3 as our term 2, and we are having 2 as our term 1. So let me work it out. 4 over 3 inverse, that will be multiplication. So remember here, it's the same as having 2 all over 1. So this will Where there is a numerator will become a denominator. What is a numerator becomes a denominator, and what is a denominator becomes a numerator. So it's going to be half here. So we're going to take it here. 4 times 1, that will be 4. 3 times 2, that will be 6. So this can be divisible, can be simplified to simple means. If we divide by 2, we are going to get 2. If we divide by 2, we're going to get, how many times does 2 goes into 6? That will be 2 all over 3. So that makes our constant ratio to be 2 all over 3. Similarly, even if you say 8 all over 9 divided by 4 all over 3, you're still going to get 2 all over 3, guys, right? So that's how you can work out the constant ratio. So let's revisit. Let's go back where there is, we are going to put 2 all over 3. We are going to put 2 all over 3. Then now what is left? Second step is to write, let's write the formula. Sum to infinity, it's a 1 minus r. Then where there is a, you replace it by 2. 1, where there's r, you replace it by, oh, I'm making a mistake. This was negative 4 over 3. So that makes it, that also makes the constant ratio to be negative. Yes, so this should be negative. So we should get negative. Sorry for that, because we had negative 4 over 3. So I'm sorry for that. I nearly make a mistake. I nearly made a mistake there, guys. So it's fine. I've seen it earlier. So this will be negative 2 all over 3 divided by 3. So what is the sum to infinity? Let me punch the calculator. 2, 1 minus, open the bracket, negative 2 all over 3. Then that gives us 6 all over 5. So that will be 6 all over 5. 6 divided by 5 will be our solution. So that's how you can work out sum to infinity, right? When given in terms of numbers. Sometimes they can give you in terms of variables, in which this is why I want you to, this is what I want us to look at. Remember, we have worked with number 1 and number 2. So let's look at our third question. Well, we are looking at number 3. Consider the series 3x plus 3x, open the bracket, x minus 2, and plus 3x x minus 2 squared plus ellipsis. So the first question, it is essential for us to understand the question, right? When you understand the question, what it requires, you'll never go wrong, guys. You will never go wrong, because you'll be able to answer it correctly so, right? So remember, here's a technique to answer any question in mathematics. Think and do. Don't do and think. You think and do. To think and do will help you to do things correctly in mathematics. Let's look at this. For which values of x will the series converge? For which values of x will the series converge? Remember, it converges between -1 and 1. -1 and +1. So the first thing is to write what we are being told. -1 between -1 and +1. So you need to find the constant ratio. How do we get that? Remember I told you, remember this is T1 and this is T2 and this is T3. So in other words, T2 divided by T1. Let's see how are we going to do that. So we have 3x, and which is T2, and x minus 2 divided by T1, which is 3x. The best way we can simplify this, we can see that 3x and 3x can be cancelable. So we can cancel this. So we have x minus 2. X minus 2 as our constant ratio. Similarly, even if we can just say we can take term 3. Let's say we have 3, open the bracket, x minus 2 squared divided by what is that? Remember here it's also 3x, guys. So sorry for here. So remember it's also 3x, not 3, not just 3. So it's 3x divided by 3x and x minus 2. So this and this will cancel, and x minus 2 and x minus 2. So we only cancel one of x minus 2. So we are left with what? X minus 2. So meaning that we are right in terms of finding the constant ratio. I hope that's clear, right? So let's work it out. So we need to find which values of x that the series converge. So we're going to put where there is r, you replace it by x minus 2. Then the best way, since we need to write this in terms of x, is to take negative 2 to the other side and take negative 2 to the other side. If you take negative 2 to the other side, it becomes positive. So this will be negative 2 plus negative 1 plus 2, which will be left with x here. As well as, remember, we are going to have 1 plus 2. So what is negative 1 plus 2? Negative 1 plus 2, it's the same as saying 2 minus 1, which will be 1, right? So which will be 1. So what is 1 plus 2? So 1 plus 2, it's gonna be 3. So this is the notation behind this, guys. So this is where for which values of x will the series converge. It will converge just between 1 and 3. I hope, guys, you do understand that, right? So let's look at our last question, which says if x is a value for which the series converges, right? Calculate the sum to infinity of the series in terms of x. So what do you think? What should we do, guys? We need to be smart. Remember, we need to find the sum to infinity. So they want us to calculate the sum to infinity. So you write the formula: sum to infinity, a divided by 1 minus r, right? So okay, all right. So where there's a, remember our a term 1, it's 3x minus, what is our r? Our r, we did calculate it. We said that the constant ratio is x minus 2. So let's weigh it out. 3x, take out the bracket there, this will be 1. Negative will multiply everything that is inside the bracket. Negative multiplied by x, that will be negative. Negative and negative, that will be positive. So from here, step by step, I go with it. So we have 1 plus 2. What is 1 plus 2? 1 plus 2, it's 3. So it's 3 minus x. So the sum to infinity in this case, in terms of x, will be 3x divided by 3 minus x. I hope, guys, this have shed some light. I hope that it has put some light into your mind, and I hope that you will do well. I hope that you will do well. See you on our next video, where we will look at sigma notation. Thank you for watching the video, and for liking and subscribing, comment. We really appreciate you. See you in the next one.